Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. Today on the show, I interview Florence of My Parisian Kitchen. We talk all about her cooking journey and how life changed for her once she followed her true passion of cooking. To the show, Florence, how are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me today. Bonjour à tous.
I was just looking at all your Instagram, your Pinterest, your Facebook, your website. You got it all going on. It's all so well done. But I want to go back to the start of your life. You grew up in the French Alps, but spent a lot of time in Japan. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing, your history. Let listeners know where you're from.
Okay, so I grew up in the Alps until 17 years old. And when I was 17, my father had to move for his job to Japan. So I left a very small town in the Alps to move to Tokyo, which was quite a shock from a very in the Alps with a lot of sports and skiing to the life in the city and speaking English and so on. And so I spent 2 years in Japan and came back to Paris afterwards and continued studying Japanese at the university in France together with international trade. So I during those studies, I worked a lot with using Japanese, all kind of jobs I had. And I was always asked for, the Japanese I met always asked me questions on French food, French recipes, and so on. And at that time, it was something like 1993, 92, 94, something like that. And I organized cooking lessons at my home. My mother used to cook, and I used to explain the dishes to Japanese in Paris. That's how it started, with a mom who's a great cook and me who was a bit translating and a bit also starting to be more and more interested in French food and French lifestyle and French everything around French gastronomy. That's the beginning of the story.
Yeah, but you were able to learn Japanese in 2 years? Like, that's really good.
Well, when you're in the country, it's easier to learn a language because you chat with people, and when you hear Japanese or language all day long, then it makes it easier to get the intonation and the vocabulary.
But still, that's difficult. So here you are teaching French food to Japanese people, and then later on in life, like, what happens? Do you continue that route?
So I just did that with my mom while I was at the university, and then I started to work. And a few years later, I stopped working for something like 6 years to raise my daughters. In France, we have something that's called congé parental, which means you can stop working for a few years. You get a bit of money and you raise your kids. And during this time, once more, I met Japanese and was asked for French food, French recipes, and started again cooking lessons for Japanese. And this time, I was the one who was cooking. And I did that for a few years. And then once more, went back to work. And with the growing passion about cooking.
Yeah.
And in 2014, I have a bit of a tough year with different things that wasn't going quite the right way in my life. And at that time, I realized that when I was in peace was when I was in my kitchen cooking. And this is when I decided to stop hiding myself, stop being afraid of what I was
what you wanted.
about to start, and just listen to my feelings and start a blog. At that time, I had no Facebook account, no Instagram account. And
now you have it all.
So I started the blog, and with the idea of what the Japanese liked in my cooking lesson is, of course, learning the recipes, but also learning the story behind the culture, French culture, the traditions, and if also what's around the recipe. So this is the idea I had with the blog, is just start sharing recipe, but also sharing information of French gastronomy and lifestyle. And voilà.
So talk about some of the growing pains. Yeah, like that was your whole life in one like paragraph. I love it. And so talk about some of the like growing pains of starting the blog. Like what was that like? It was scary, and like you started, you said in 2014, that's like when blogs were kind of exploding.
Yes, so I started I had the chance to have a friend who wanted to change his job as well. And he wanted to quit his day job to start a business helping people to start blogs. So it was kind of a win-win story. He helped me to start the blog, and with my blog, he had something to play with and something, a blog to test things, and also start his new business. So he helped me a lot with this at the beginning. And I was kind of shy at the beginning. I didn't dare sharing on social media or asking my friends to retweet or reshare what I used to do. It was very because. And also it was at that time you wouldn't have all the resources you can find now on the internet. It was it was more difficult to find the right information, and so I must have made a lot of mistakes, but I had the chance quite quickly to be invited to a few events for food bloggers. And from that period, I got invited to many food contests among bloggers, presentations and testing in Michelin star restaurants for champagne brand and so on. So this helped me to think that well, it was difficult to have views on the blog, but there was not only the blog. I was learning lots of things. I was meeting lots of people, and I had the chance to have many amazing experiences. So it was kind of a whole.
Yeah, it was exciting.
And little by little, I started to post more recipes and started to learn how to write for internet, which is not the same thing as cooking in a kitchen. Because what I discovered is my passion was cooking. I was cooking all the time and always trying to invent new recipes, try new things, or test from one ingredient, test things. But it's a whole different world from being in your kitchen, testing recipes, and writing for internet, for Google, and posting on social media, and taking photo. Also had to learn how to shoot photo, and now it's video. So it's not the same from being in your kitchen, cooking and sharing with people that might enjoy what you cook. And doing the internet, or what you do for internet, is absolutely not the same thing. So that was a good thing. I had all those experiences because it helped me to keep focused on my objectives. Because if I only had just writing for the website, it might have been more complicated for me.
Yeah, definitely. You had to learn many things. And I think it was a book I was reading, where Brene Brown said kind of playing in the shadows, like you say, that you were kind of nervous to share it with people in the beginning. So you were kind of playing in like a dark spot where no one would see. And then as you got more brave, you would share more. And going to all the events must have been really fun too, to meet other people who are passionate about food. And
Yes.
how has your cooking evolved over the years? Has it changed much?
So there's one thing I did to kind of how can I say, prove myself I was legitimate,
Mm-hmm.
is that I passed what we call the CAP cuisine, which is a cooking degree you can get. So I passed this degree without any lesson, just went there and got it with quite good results.
Wow.
So this helped me to to be more confident in what I was doing. And as for my cooking, it evolved in a sense that I I try to have eyes wide open, try to look at many things and many influences, and I I dare more things now. I try more associations. I try products I never bought before, and so on. So I think I do more things now than I used to at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I still way to what I feel is what I like to share. I will never follow trends or do things that people want to. I feel I will do that what I think is the real French food, real French cuisine, and keep focused on our roots. And for instance, my mother was from South France, so there's a lot of Provençal influences in my cooking. And
Yeah.
I try to keep I dare more things, but I try to keep focused on seasonality, products,
Yeah.
and traditions, and things that are important for me.
Yeah, you keep the Frenchness in it, like there are certain things that are very core to French cooking, such as seasonal things, and that's what like really adds the flavor. That was something for me as an American that was really shocking, like coming to France, like you can't dare buy strawberries in the winter. What are you thinking? Like, why would you even try where everything's just available 24/7 in America, but it definitely doesn't taste as good. So the seasonality is like so key. And how has cooking changed your life? Like, how would you say cooking has affected you? How do you feel when you're in the moment of cooking?
In the moment of cooking, it's kind of what I said a few minutes ago when I talked about the problems I had and how I felt in my kitchen. Is I'm kind of in a bubble. I just don't think anymore. It's one of the only
Yeah.
moments I don't have 1,000 of ideas going together in my head. So I'm quite calm when I cook, and I smell, I taste, I change my mind. I follow my impressions or my feelings, and it's kind of a very peaceful moment.
Yeah, you could even say you're like in that flow state. So many people say like when they're doing something creative or something they're passionate about, you get into a flow state. So it sounds like that's what cooking is for you. And
Yes.
what's something you wish that more people knew about French cooking?
Um, I I wish they would understand that the image of French cuisine and what really is French home cooking is a very different world, and that French cooking, I mean home cooking, is not that complicated. It's not that sophisticated. It's a kind of no fuss, and product is key, and sharing is important, and kind of generosity, and so it's the thing. What I would like to people understand is that there might be a few techniques to understand, but mainly French cooking is not that complicated. And in my blog, what I try to understand, try to make is explain recipes very detailed, and so that the steps can be easily understood, and that it's also, you don't have to always stick to a recipe. As long as you understand the principle, then you can adapt. So what I would love to is that people understand a few things of French cuisine, and then from those principles, just have the kind of French style cooking, even if it's not the coq au vin or if not the traditional recipe, then they would just do cook the French way, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm clear explaining this, but I think that French cuisine is all about generosity and assembling simple ingredients and following a few steps. But and from that you can adapt.
Yeah, I think you're saying that most people think it's super complicated, and it's really not. It doesn't have to be. There's, like you say, like the typical French family is not doing anything kind of crazy with their cooking. It's good seasonal ingredients and a few steps.
Yes, it's nothing crazy, but we have vegetables. We have some cheese or desserts, but it's not always those fancy cakes you find in pastry shops. You have simple cakes that are very tasty, fruits and vegetables, and starters. You can have all kinds of starters that will bring you vitamins and fibers and so on. So. Yes, that's could be interesting to understand that you have recipes, but it's also the way the meal are structured and the different ingredients or different kind of dishes you have in a French meal. It's that will make you a nice meal, a nice dinner, or a nice lunch, and not only one recipe that you want to taste and you've succeeded in this recipe.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't have to be always difficult, and there's lots of vitamins as well, because I know that was one thing when my parents came to visit. They were like, "Where's the vegetables? It's all meat and potatoes." Like that might have just been the brasserie food. What, in your opinion, is the easiest French recipe to make?
I would say quiche. I'm always. I might do once a week a quiche with all kinds of filling inside, and that's a good example because, for instance, it's very easy to make. You can, of course, make your own pie pastry, but you can also buy a ready-made pie pastry, which actually the French also do quite often. And from this simple recipe, a pie crust, eggs and milk and cream, then with all kind of fillings inside, you can adapt with leftovers, with a few vegetables that you will just fry in a pan with olive oil and herbe de Provence and so on, and add it in your butter, in your quiche batter, and then you get a wonderful flavored quiche with. And you can do it once with carrots leftovers or leeks that you saute with spices and so on. And that's something I would like to people understand, which has its rules and is traditionally with no cheese, but French also add cheese in, so whatever. And from this recipe, you can make hundreds of other recipes.
Yeah.
And you don't have to, once you've understand how to make a quiche and what's the principle with the pie pastry, the eggs and cream, not to cook it too high in the oven, and so on, then you can adapt with the fillings, with the different kind of cheese, and you don't have to follow any recipe anymore. You just cook like French home cook. You go back from work, open the fridge, see what you have, and just bake a quiche for dinner. Serve it with green salad or grated carrots and any kind of vegetables we have as a starter in France, and voila, you have your perfect healthy dinner for the whole family.
I love that.
And that is really French home cooking. And it's actually very far away from all the bœuf bourguignon that we only do once a while when we have friends.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you're cooking that every night of the week. Yeah, I think that's great advice. Once you know the base of what you need to do, it's not so intimidating. And do you have any advice for people, business advice for people who want to turn their passions into a career? Like, what kind of business advice kind of helped you create this into a job?
So the first thing I did lately is, I wish I had done earlier, is invest in yourself. I mean, it might sound scary to spend money at the beginning, but you end up losing so much time if you don't, or making errors, that taking a few lessons on, for instance, social media, photography, business, and so on. And I would recommend try to see what are your weaknesses, and invest in that. Get help by someone, or find trainings, and there are all kind of training online now. For a few hundred of euros, you can get lessons on things, and that's something I wish I had done earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's great advice because, like you said, we used to have to go to like a university or a classroom to learn things and really research, but now you can learn anything on the internet and it's not that expensive. So you might as well, like you said, invest a little bit and skip all the years of trying to figure these things out. And how do you define creativity in your own words?
Oh, that's a tough question for me, because it's always difficult for me to say I'm creative, because I only follow my feelings and follow my impressions. And so I think that some people really have a value, for personal difference, and can make anything extraordinary. But most people would be like me, thinking that they are not creative. And the thing is, I would say, when you do something that you believe in, then it's worth it. And maybe that's a tiny bit of creativity. And if you believe in it, then you can make it explode, and get something that you think afterward is worth it.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. I mean, creativity, I think a lot of times is what gets us excited about life again. It doesn't have to be painting or writing or whatever. It can just be something that you're excited to figure out or to make out of nothing. So I think that's really great advice. And why do you think creatives are so attracted to France? I mean, for centuries, creative people have been coming to Paris and being inspired here. I mean, why do you think that is?
I think it has to do with the beauty of Paris. It's charming. There's so many nice buildings and monuments and parks, and it's if you focus on the beauties of Paris, then you can maybe find the peace and find the find some yes, it has to do with something with beauty, history, and the magic that the city has, that might inspire people, even if it's a completely different world. It's not even to do something with that.
Yeah, it's all coming together.
Maybe I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. You feel something, at least. It's all about feeling, like you said. And how do you keep your ideas evolving and getting better? What do you do to kind of get yourself excited to create new things?
So I try to be curious. I try to watch a lot of things on maybe Instagram, on exhibitions, and listen to podcasts and so on. I try to gather lots of information, and from this huge mess I have in my head, it helps me to focus on a few things, and it's kind of empiric. I've tried to set up workflows and lists and solutions and so on, and it doesn't work at all with me. So I end up setting up things that I never follow. So I'm more curious and try to keep things open wide. And from all this mess and a huge amount of things coming in, and the books I read, the photos I see, the place I visit, and so on, then I have things that gather in my head, and sometimes I just come up with an idea or with a wish, and sometimes I think I didn't do anything with it. But when I'm at the farmers market, I saw a vegetable, bell pepper or whatever, and from this, everything comes back in my head, and I have a clear idea of what I want to do with that, and it's just the aggregation of all what I've seen and tasted in restaurants, and seen in cookbooks, or photos I've seen on the internet and so on, and it all comes together, and suddenly I have an idea or a feeling or a wish to try something. So it's not a structured work. And each time I've tried to structure the things, then I didn't manage to do much with it. So, but I think it's not a structured way to build a business, or to develop a blog, or to because I start many things and should finish more.
So, that's all of us.
and also I also try to want to give the best I can ever. So maybe I should lower my expectations, yes. But yes, this is my own process, and so I have for my blog I have so many recipes I've already tasted, photos I've already taken, and recipes I want, stories behind dishes I've read and want to share. I just need more time to gather everything and keep sharing on the blog, but I will do little by little, continue sharing on social media and on the blog in French and English, my recipes, may they be home cooking or the traditional recipes that people are still interested in, and the one I think that worth sharing because they can be done all over the world.
And that kind of answers my next question. Like, what are you most excited about for your future work? Just developing new recipes and continue to share?
So I have two kind of direction I would like to follow. I would like to make French traditional recipe. The recipe people think are really French. I would like to make them very, very affordable and try to share them one after the other. So that's one of my the things I want to do. And the other thing is lower, as you said earlier, lower my expectation and just share more of what is French daily life and French daily home cooking, and maybe that could be the second part of the things I would like to continue sharing on the blog and on social media, of course.
I love that. And where can people connect with you online and see more of your work?
So online, the website is myparisiankitchen.com, It's both in French and in English. And on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. It's still the name My Parisian Kitchen. And also on Facebook, we have a fun group which is called French Food and Lifestyle. It's a Facebook group where we all share our love of France. It's more French food and French lifestyle, but everybody just there sharing their meal. So it's also another place to have fun and connect. And of course, on social media, just I always answer to comment or messages. So I'm always happy to chat with people.
Yeah, make sure you guys connect with her online. Check out myparisiankitchen.com. And thanks so much, Florence. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Merci. Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.